Well, in just a couple of weeks, Hendrick Hospice is hosting a camp for children who are dealing with a loss. It's called Camp Courage. Here to tell us more is Adriana Golden-Smith, bereavement coordinator for Hendrick Hospice Care. Adriana, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, this sounds like an amazing camp. Tell us what this is.
Yeah, so this is a bereavement camp for kids entering 3rd through 12th grade who have experienced a loss through death, whether that's a family member, a close friend, other related party. So this is a camp to encourage them to have a space to express their grief and explore their grief and find good coping skills along the way.
Now this camp's been going on for in the neighborhood of like, what, 20 years?
Over 20 years, yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing into its own there.
Yeah, it's the only kind of program in this area, and so it really fits a particular need that this community has. Kids often have what's called disenfranchised grief, so that's grief that's not acknowledged by larger society. As kids, we think that they don't grieve or don't experience loss, but just because they express it differently doesn't mean they don't experience it.
Sure.
So our goal is to really tap into that need and acknowledge that grief and give them some tools to go forward coping.
How much is this type of thing needed for children? Certainly, because this is ages 3rd grade through 12th grade. So, I mean, we're talking, younger children all the way up to, teenage when they're entering young adulthood there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like all of us, kids grieve their entire lives. As we have different life transitions, it brings up more grief. And so we really want to give a solid foundation for them going forward so they can take that with them and cope well along the way.
Okay, and that's going on here in Abilene.
Yes. So it starts in just a couple weeks. It's June 5th through 9th. The 5th through the 8th is from 9 to 1 p.m. at our hospice facility, and then the 9th is at prime time from 10 to 1.
So with this event going on for 20 plus years, over 20 years, I imagine there have been some amazing success stories to go along with that. Is there anything that comes to mind when that enters the conversation?
Yes, I mean, there's lots of incredible stories from day-to-day camp experiences. The things that kids say will just give you goosebumps. But I think it's really powerful that we've had several campers that have come back as junior counselors and then camp counselors, and I have one that even made it onto our camp committee.
Oh, wow.
So he'd been with us for so many years, and the impact it had on him really inspired him to give it back to the community.
I mean, for some, I guess, for some adults, it's easy for them to really kind of, let their emotions out. I imagine it's the same thing for children. It varies. Did y'all experience? Is it kind of just a mixing, or does it vary with children to be able to kind of let out their emotions with this? Yeah.
I think often when we see children's grief, it's often expressed through their behavior. And so again, going back to that disenfranchised grief, we often write kids off. Oh, they're acting up, they're acting out, they're regressing, but really they're grieving and they just don't know how to express it in appropriate ways. So just like adults, they got to learn what emotions they're feeling and how to express them in healthy ways. So that's why we come alongside them and give them that emotional vocabulary, give them ways to express their emotions in healthy ways.
Well, tell us like how people can sign up for this, because there's a deadline for this.
Yes, deadline's right on the corner on May 29th. Registration information, details, and more information are on our website, hendrickhospice.org/campcourage.
Okay, thank you, Adriana, for joining us.
I want to add one more thing.
Yes.
We do have a parent and caregiver group for adults who have a bereaved child in their care. They don't have to have their child attending our camp, but we do offer that support because it's a very unique experience, grieving, parenting a bereaved child, and trying to support both those things.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, if you know a child who could benefit from Camp Courage, it will be at Hendrick Hospice Care Center June 5th through 9th. The deadline to register is just days away through May 29th. So sign up now. It is for kids entering 3rd through 12th grade. We'll have a link where you can learn more along with this interview on our website, bigcountryhomepage.com.